Mr.
Bond.
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 Bond. James Bond.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching us from, guys. Welcome back to another Ultimate Bondcast. You're here today once again with Mike and Chris. How are you, Chris?
I'm all right, Mike. How are you doing? How are you?
Oh, all the better for seeing your glowing smile, mate. Put it that way. You know,
It feels like a few weeks since we've done a Bondcast. I'm surprised.
official because we had to do a little
Here
jump,
again.
didn't we, about the updates and stuff recently. So yeah, it's been nice to. We're getting back into a special episode today, and if you guys haven't read the description or know what we're going to be doing today, our aim is to look at either unraveling, debunking, or agreeing with some of the sort of wild, outlandish Bond timeline theories out there.
Yeah,
so
there's a few of them, isn't there?
opportunity. There's about 100 if you look deep into it, which is a bit peculiar, really. So we'll be looking at some bits and bobs that people have got out there, some professional theories, some fan theories, and some of our own. But if I may ask, Chris, have you got any particular love for the theory subject, or how's your sort of perception on these sort of things?
I'm looking forward to getting stuck into them, but like I don't prescribe to any of the theories. I think my view is to watch it from Dr. No onwards and not take it too seriously, I guess. I think there's a worry that like you can still be a really big super fan and not have to have a crazy theory about it. So whoever's watching, you don't have to have a theory. You can just enjoy the films from film 1 to film, whatever it finishes at. Exactly. Who knows? Hopefully into the 30s and 40s eventually. But
I suppose that in itself is a theory, though, isn't it? I suppose in a strange way. That's your theory.
Yeah, it is. It is,
So,
absolutely. It's absolutely. But I don't need to like. I'm quite happy with with the order that's already natural.
Well, of course, it's not just our theories; it's your theories as well. So, by all means, if you're live streaming, watching us now, I've got the collector just popped as well. Hi, the collector. Hope you're well. Join in with the chat. Let us know what you think would be the order of your movies or your Bond theories, stuff like that. Really. So, but before we do that, Chris, we do have to do. What do we always do? We do the legendary, the one, the only Bond news, mate. That's what it's all about right now.
It's exciting as well because there's been big news, right?
There
been
really
big
has.
News, or at least big rumours.
Well, it's kind of news, but no news, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and I suppose it depends on your perception of this. So, and we're going a bit more fancy, Chris. We're using slides now. It's amazing. We're we've actually caught up with 1998. Would you believe?
I was going to say, yeah. I think I was doing slides in Windows 95 somewhere. Clip art, mate. That's what I used to live on.
Clip art, word art as well. Word art, all that sort of stuff. But yes, we'll do the big news in a moment. However, in sort of a more lighter subject, if you like, would you be surprised to find out, Chris, there is a new Bond book on the horizon?
Well, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. I'm getting back into my reading, so that's exciting news for me.
It's more a factual read, though, because this is not fictional or literary. I'll just bring it up here. So this is called The James Bond Lover's Guide to Britain. So essentially what this is, if I just put my own banner down so I can actually read it, is about looking at the destinations that have been either used in the books or the films that are quite a sort of, I don't know, I wouldn't say romantic, but maybe iconic locations to go in. So it's even things like the MI6 building in London, as you can see on the screen there for you. So it says in the highlights, we've got Guide to the Bond film locations. We have got a unique look at the main locations described in the Bond movies. Explore the places where Ian Fleming lived and shaped his career and his creation. And identifies I can't see what it is, the readers. There's something that drops away there, just something so the readers can be like James Bond. So it's more a guide to Bond as opposed to a literary Bond.
Mate, if there's anything that gives me the opportunity to live like Bond, it's got to be worth a shot, right?
Mate, we've got to get on that train, get a few martinis, and go see some of these destinations. What do you reckon?
Oh, I think that sounds like a great idea.
That'd be
a great idea. That'll be on our Bond Christmas party, I think.
Oh, mate, absolutely. The ultimate Christmas Bondcast, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. But we need the big news
I don't need
now.
to make it into a Bondcast, mate. I can have genuine fun on the train with you. It's all good.
You made that sound really wrong.
Don't have to suck every moment and turn it into content. Is fine. We were friends before this.
Are you ready for the really, really big news? Big news or no news?
Big news.
So, yes. Big news. Here we are. We've got an update regarding Bond 26. So, it's been revealed that the search for the actor to play James Bond, this is released in the press, will start next year. This is after the completion of Dune Part 3. Those familiar will tell us the director and his collaborators are seeking a fresh face to take on the role of 007, which is interesting. So we're going for somebody completely that's not even on the books now. So it sounds like, anyway, they're not. It's a total unknown actor they're looking at or will be looking at.
So yeah, I mean, this report came out on the 24th from Deadline, and I've seen quite a few people reacting to it. I don't think it'll be a total unknown. I mean, it might be. It might be. The way I'm reading it with a fresh face is that it is not an A-lister. It's not a Henry Cavill. It's not a Tom Hiddleston. It's not an Idris Elba. It's somebody who maybe you've watched a TV show and you go, oh, he was whatever in that show I just watched.
Yeah. Oh, I know his face.
Good
just
in
don't know
that
his
little
name.
bit in that film. Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember when he was on that Bird's Eye advert and he did that really nice spit? And yeah.
So it's probably somebody who obviously has acted before, but yeah, definitely not a household name. And I was, it still makes me think. I really want. Was it? I can't even remember his name now. Was it Jack Howson, the guy from Slow Horses?
Yes.
Even I can't remember his name. But yeah, he was my pick, and I still feel like maybe he fits that mold of not being, a household name, a fresh face.
Now,
I don't know. It depends what their definition is.
It's absolutely true, and it depends on the direction they want to go back. Because another thing that's been touted, Chris, is whoever gets the role eventually will be on decades-long contracts. So they're going to go really young to take it forward and have Bond for maybe it'll be a longer run than Roger Moore. We don't know. It could be a new record.
So let me ask you then: do you want a Bond for 6+ movies?
I think ultimately it depends on two things: who and what direction. Because if it's a terrible actor and a cringe idea, then no, absolutely not. I want them to move on to something bigger and better.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult.
So
I would probably put them on a three film deal, and then with an option for another 3 films if it's really good, and give them the option to decide.
Connery, I would probably say never again. Truthfully, that's we'd have to wait and see what comes around the corner. Really,
I think so.
The next bit of the update, though, so it also says, James Bond will be male and as written by the creator Ian Fleming. Importantly, will be an actor who hails from the British Isles. That will rule out fan speculation that we've mentioned a couple already. But favourites like, we had Timothée Chalamet from the Doom movies, which was quite a link to the director. So that kind of rules him out. We've got Glenn Powell, Austin Butler, Jacobi Elordi, and the others that are not from the UK shores. So therefore, that's kind of debunked a lot of our previous podcasts from the beginning of the year, isn't it, really? In ways, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta say, I mean, I'll come to you on this, but I don't know if I was that set on it having to be from the British Isles. We've had 2 Bonds that aren't from the British Isles, so I know Ireland is right next to the British Isles, but I didn't need it, but okay, fair enough. What do you think?
I wouldn't say it's essential. Maybe it's nice to keep it traditional, but I wouldn't say in any way it's essential. And the collector just picked up on something that is also very key to the next part we're going to reveal as well, about the turnaround for the movie, because that is a big part of this. Whether they let the fire go too long and stoke it out, or if they bring it out too early and burn the house down, there's 2 directions with Bond. I like that. description, by the way. It's quite a good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
This was where we go into it. So, those in the know tell us the ideal approach to cast Bond as an unknown, possibly in his late 20s or 30s, to play what is described as a blunt instrument, the lethal but extremely dull, uninteresting man who things seem to happen to. That's quite a good way of describing the literary Bond compared to, let's say, Connery walking into a casino one day and everybody just throws their arms at him. So it's an unknown man that things just seem to happen to. If the criteria is stuck to, that will mean that favourites such as Tom Hardy, Idris Elba, Henry Cavill, who are all past their 40s, presumably will not match without Villeneuve. Also, David Heyman and Amy Pascal, is it their direction? Are they going to take it in that direction with Amazon? So there's a lot of things to take away from this. But what we can establish, Chris, is that Bond 26 will now land in 2028 because the preparation will be in 2027. Therefore, the reveal or whatever would either be early 28 or maybe late 27. What do you think?
I think that makes sense. Let's not rush it. I'm not surprised about them taking their time to choose Bond. I remember when we discussed it before, and a lot of people were saying, "Well, this must mean that a Bond actor will be imminent." And I remember saying at the time, "No, it won't. We've just got a new director in. He'll want to pick the new Bond." So I'm not shocked by it. I thought maybe by Christmas we'd hear, but definitely not. So I'm not surprised by that. I think I don't want people to go. I don't want them to go too young. I don't need an origin when the game is an origin. I do not need another Bond origin story. I just want a film that can fit in wherever. If I want to watch, Diamonds Are Forever, and then I want to watch The Spy Love Me, and then I want to watch Bond 26. It shouldn't matter. I just want something that will fit in. And I don't care. The
same experience, relatively.
Yeah, I don't need it to be a kid.
That might disappoint you on the next bit, though, Chris, because to say the current theory out there is it's Bond's beginnings as a Royal Navy commander, which echoes First Light. I'm not being funny, slightly with how that begins, and it's before he's recruited to MI6. So, I mean, I think there's only one way I would take it, Chris, and maybe you would disagree, but what do you think about maybe a pre-title sequence being Bond's parents dying in the climbing accident? And then we have the music, and then we lead into a young Bond in the Royal Navy. Nothing about being 007. What about that way? Would you take that by any chance?
Nope.
Or
nope.
No. Nothing? No. Okay.
I don't care about James Bond's parents. I mean, people tell me in the comments, am I going mad here? I mean, the thing that you said in that on that thing, if you can bring it back up again, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it says the hope and current theory is going back to Bond's beginnings. I don't know whose hope. I
don't know who suggested it either.
The current theory, it's just a theory. The next theory could be that he's, it could be Pierce Brosnan coming back and it's going to be a Bond in his 70s. It's just a theory. I personally think 30s is fine. James Bond is 30s, and then he can play for 20 years, do 6 films, be in his 50s when he retires, and rinse and repeat, and we just get the next Bond.
The name's Bond, retired Bond.
Don't need his parents in it. I don't need, the pearls falling to the ground and, the Joker shooting the dad in the face. I don't need it. But you tell me, what do you think? Do you want that as an intro and a young naval Bond?
It's a hard one. I'm not crying out for it, put it that way.
Okay.
But I think it would be, if they started to do, let's face it, an origin, which is possible, it might be an origin, it would be a different spin than just another Casino Royale, which I'm not being funny, it's still fresh in my head, even though it's 20...
We've got an origin.
Whatever years ago. I don't think it's necessary. So I think it'd be the only way I would expect them to go with a fresh take. But I'm not saying I'm crying out for that approach, Chris. Not for a second. And then just a final bit was mentioned, and exactly what it says there. It's looking at November 2028 or 2027, which I think you've alluded to before. November is a very popular release segment for Bond, isn't it? Really,
it is. It's that post-summer lull, and James Bond seems to thrive in that in between summer and Christmas.
Yeah, there's kind of a famine for good movies at that point, isn't there? Really,
So yeah, I'm well up for that. That sounds fine. Gives them plenty of time to write a decent script. get the cast in place.
Just don't mess it up, Amy, David. Take your time, nurture this. This is a really, really crucial film series, and you're only going to get one chance before you make an impact that you can't undo. So, I mean, I don't sound really confident about it, don't I, Chris? But I'm probably more nervous than ever now.
Do you know what? I'm not nervous. I think it's too early to be nervous. From my point of view, like just let them cook, let them do their thing. If they come out and James Bond is somebody I hate, I mean that's fandom these days, isn't it? People are going to hate your decision. People didn't know who Daniel Craig was, really.
No, I didn't.
I think he's what you could class as a fresh face. He'd been in some films. He'd been in Layer Cake and Tomb Raider and what have you, but he wasn't. I think that's the kind of name they're going to go for. Somebody who is known.
They're not a household name. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to suddenly put on Tom Cruise, for example, and Henry Cavill in place because they're big names. They are really big names, and probably not really long enough to run a 10-year, 20-year contract. So, and
this is another thing, isn't it? If they're big, they're going to want big money. They're going to want shorter contracts. You're right. So they have the flexibility if they pick somebody new.
Amazon want their $2 billion back. Therefore, if they can save on some wages and production value, maybe, just maybe, that would be good for a financial point of view, but also it might be good from a film point of view because they're not going to go too outlandish, more grounded, more gritty. So I would quite be okay with that, but just give us a little bit of comedy. That'd be nice, isn't it? As well.
It's funny as well, like you say, grounded and gritty. I don't even need grounded and gritty. I feel like I've just had 4 or 5 grounded and gritty movies.
Yeah,
I'm quite happy with classic Bond. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Bit
of humour, maybe quite a few tuxedos, women everywhere throwing their feet about, please. It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Really. So that is Bond news. Probably the longest Bond news we've had, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a good bit of news, though, isn't it? I love a bit of speculation.
It was big news, and no deaths. Would you notice as well at the moment? So that's quite nice to hear for once.
Nice.
I'm starting to get a bit like an obituary every week, wasn't I? Every month. Oh, this is happening now.
Our Bondcast in memoriam section.
Yeah, in the Hall of Remembrance. So but that's where we are now, Chris. We're on to timeline theories. Now, for those of you who are not aware what we mean by timeline theories, the bottom line is this is totally headcanon. There's no right or wrong. It is your perception of what you believe the Bond movies are to be watched in, whether you watch them cinematically, chronologically, a weird way around it, however you justify it in your own head. This is what it's all about. But it's worth mentioning, whilst there's no right or wrong answer, there is some really outlandish internet theories, which we will go into. And I'm not saying for a second I subscribe to them either.
Read some crazy ones.
I have. And it's mental, mate. It's absolutely mental. But I think the guys would probably find it quite, I don't know, uplifting that they're probably watching Bond the right way and not the wrong way. So, for those of you, one of the most popular theories out there, and we've sort of alluded to this before, Chris, haven't we, is the code name theory. Now, we've kept this out of conversation for a long time because we've been waiting for this moment, don't we?
We have, yeah, because there's it feels as though it's a theory that has gathered some weight over the course of the last probably 20 years. I feel like ever since Daniel Craig came into play. But even before that, people have speculated that it's not the same person. It was even something that 1967's Casino Royale touched upon, that Bond is a code name and he's not a person.
I mean, that's what you could argue was a spoof, of course. Therefore, it would push the boundaries. I don't consider them kind of thing. Well, so, but I think codename theory has been heightened, if you know, Chris, by the Bourne movies, because if those you are not familiar with this concept, the idea obviously is the fact that Bourne, being David Webb, takes the code name of Jason Bourne to become a universal killing machine, and that's just a code name that he lives by. So the theory that some people believe is that when Bond goes through all these different adventures in all these sort of various different incarnations, it's a different Bond every single time. Therefore, the adventures are not connected. They might run parallel. It might be, once the course has ran and Bond passed away in a very unfortunate event, like at the end of No Time to Die, for example. That from that point, there's a new Bond that takes over, which I think is for me, I only give it about 5% lightness to that theory. What do you think, Chris?
I think that the codename theory is a way of explaining away casting changes, and I feel like it serves no like narrative purpose in the Bond movies other than to explain away Guy A has become Guy B. I do subscribe to the theory that it's not even really a theory, is it? But like, I think M and I think Q are code names, so I think it's quite easy for you to say. I think it's quite easy for you to say that. You know, that other characters have got code names as well. He's already got a code. It's 007.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what it boils down to, isn't it? And I think the fact that anybody can be 007, but it doesn't mean that you're James Bond. That's my take. And there's so many plot holes, isn't there, when you look at codename theory? Because
the collector makes a really good point as well. I kind of feel like everything is self-contained. I kind of feel that way, that like it's a diary entry of his mission. You're seeing a snapshot.
It is
of his life.
Oh, hi to Lorenzo, by the way, who's joined us. Hope you're well, Lorenzo. But yeah, there's a couple of plot holes here, Chris, with the codename theory. Why he is the same guy essentially all the way through the films. Number one for me is Tracy. Okay, because whilst it wasn't the most known movie, there has been references in the Roger Moore movies, License to Kill with Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, The War Is Not Enough. All these things have been aligned. So for me,
Spy Love Me. Was it Spy Love Me where you went to visit the grave?
Oh yes, with Major Massa, wasn't it? In Fiore's Only, it was at the beginning of the grave. And
Fiore's Only, sorry, yes, thank you.
How would it be that another Bond is mourning another person's wife? So,
if Lazenby had never said this never happened to the other guy, maybe this would never even have the legs that it has.
I totally agree, and I don't subscribe to the codename theory at all. I think it's a little bit too outlandish, and I think it's probably just Bourne inspired, to be honest with you. You know,
Lorenzo doesn't agree with it either. So yeah, no, I don't. I don't subscribe to the codename theory, but I see why some people might want to explain away casting changes because of that. I think some people can't reconcile different actors in the same role as some people can.
Yeah, exactly. And just by the way, Dominique's just joined the chat as well. You mentioned that it's a la 007 First Light, all the bits with the Bond's early days and all that. So it's getting a bit. I don't know. This is more tense as time goes on now, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like I say, it's not something that I particularly give a lot of credence to.
No.
I think there are enough plot holes in Bond without trying to. I think you create more sometimes when you try to shoehorn in these kind of theories. There's always something else that counteracts it, contradicts.
I'm all for letting your mind wander and maybe consider things a bit more outlandishly, but there is a point where you just go, no, it debunks. So for me, should we put the codename theory firmly in the bin, Chris? As far as we're
let's put it to bed.
It's gone. It's not something we agree with. You might, but it's not for us. So it is what it is. But before I go through my ideal timeline, Chris, I want to give you the fan stuff out there. Now, have you got some as well? You said.
I think there's one main theory that I keep seeing that I think maybe it's similar to yours. I don't know. But
go for it. What have you got?
Oh no, I mean it's mainly around how I guess the Bond is bookended by Daniel Craig's movies. They start with Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, and it ends with No Time to Die. It creates so many plot holes, but I think I saw it first in a video, and I want to get it right. It was a video by Cinefix. So other people might have seen this as well. But basically it's about a 20-minute video, so it's worth watching on YouTube if you get the chance. And it goes into great depth about trying to explain away things, and I think they try too hard to put things together and explain different things, like the different Blofelds, and there are some interesting things about where Bond films fit. So I think some of the Sean Connery movies get dotted around because some mention Spectre and some don't. So then you've got to try and get all the Spectre movies at a certain point, and that becomes even more difficult when a new Blofeld
very
appears. So it's really complicated. But it's basically about the fact that James Bond starts in Casino Royale and has a period where he is involved fighting Spectre, and then that disappears for a considerable amount of time, and Spectre is reborn through his adopted brother, who has picked Spectre and has picked Blofeld as a name to sort of turn the screw into his adopted brother that he hates, and that's why he's come up with that, and that it actually isn't Spectre in the same way that we used to. So it's a little bit like, yeah, okay.
So,
all right.
So how would the movies go in that theory? So it'd be Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace. I mean, you're thinking about all the other Bond films straight after, and
no. It was a really convoluted order, but Goldfinger was third because it didn't have any mention of Spectre, and then there was Dr. No and From Russia with Love, and then it moved into some of the Roger Moore movies. I think you see because there's points in the franchise where like Trace's death, there are certain films that have to come after that.
They stand. I mean, for me, there's only been 2 true sequels in the Bond canon, which was From Russia with Love with Dr. No, that was 2, and then you had Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. They were the direct linked sequels, if you like.
Yeah, you've got Bond films where characters return, so like with Jaws, but I don't think any of them, any others are direct sequels. You're right. And I actually think with Skyfall, they talk about James Bond being old. You're old, an old dog, and it's like
in 4 years between Quantum
he just
and
got his 00 license. What are you on about? So yeah, then you have to insert another 15 films in between.
I love Skyfall. It's a brilliant movie, but that did bother me. Yeah. How is he just suddenly the old dog? Yeah, he's the rookie a minute ago. So that just mentioned maybe delayed memory loss. So
yeah, maybe. This is the problem, though. You have to keep coming up with excuses, don't you? This is the problem with like these timelines, is that you have to then you're putting stuff together in a haphazard way, and then you've got, well, actually this doesn't work. Like the different money pennies, the different M's. Are they the same person? Are they different people? If you start with Casino Royale, you start with Judi Dench, and then Judi Dench vanishes for 18 films, and then Judi Dench comes back.
Now, IGN have got a way of explaining that, apparently, and it's a good theory.
She goes off to Sector H.
Yeah, and
so Cinefix is part of IGN, so it might be the same theory.
Well, that's where she meets Raoul Silver, young as an agent in Hong Kong and all that. So that could create a connection. And so
that one thing could, definitely.
Because the one thing that bothers me about the Daniel Craig era was the beginning of Judi Dench. I love Judi Dench. She's one of the best M's ever. But she threw, where does this film fall? And she's the only plot hole, except the year in the technology, I can't always get my head round. I don't know if you agree with that.
I think it's only a plot hole if you care that there's a continuity, and I think that's what I'm trying to say, is if you don't care that the films don't follow an order, then it's not a problem.
Agreed.
But if you're like, if Bond is the same person, then Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace can take place at least before GoldenEye. Definitely trying to put it into a timeline.
And that's bear in mind the time jumps as well. We've got things like with GoldenEye, where we've got a 9-year gap between the pre-title sequence and the main movie itself.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to take away from it. The fact that I know they are not necessarily linear, and we don't really have to pay a lot of attention to the year that the movie is set in. They can be treated as standalone adventures. But some of the fan stuff, Chris, is what I'm going to run through with you. This will make you laugh, actually. If you'd like, I'll screen share it so you can see how it looks if you want. So,
great. Let's do it.
It's a dodgy website, so forgive the adverts and stuff in the background. There's no clad women. We're not doing a title sequence on Bond or anything. But let me just show you what I can see.
What are you sharing?
It's not our OnlyFans page. We're keeping that strictly for me and you.
It's the only funding stream we've got. You should be sharing the hell out of
it. So here's the theories, right? So I don't know if this has come up all right. Can you see it all right?
Yes. Can we after each one, can we just say if it like dumb or like we give credence to it? 'Cause
Absolutely.
I feel like they're all going to be ridiculous.
So here's the second one. I've gone to the second one because ultimately the first one was Codename Theory.
Okay.
So we've gone to that one.
Yeah.
So number 2, those that believe Bond is basically Ian Fleming, which in a strange way kind of
like
could
this is
be
a memoir.
Yeah, Bond is what Fleming wanted to be, isn't he? That's essentially why he wrote that character. So in an essence he is, but he isn't Bond, of course. He isn't Fleming, if that makes sense, you know?
I do know. He isn't Fleming. Definitely not.
So I would say nice theory.
I can't see Bond sitting around after he's fought Scaramanga and then he decides to sit down and write Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
No, and then just decides to, and then goes, oh, I'm a bit quiet now. I haven't got any missions left. Oh, I'm going to go and co-write You Only Live Twice, even though it's a movie that I'm going to be in, apparently, or that it's about my life. So it's just, I don't know. It's too outlandish for me. So should we say debunk?
100%.
Right, next one down there. Sean Connery is the father of Daniel Craig's Bond.
But does that not mean then that is that a code name theory, or is he James Bond Jr.?
That's an open interpretation, isn't it? It's an open interpretation. From a fan perspective, it's quite admirable, but my God, I don't like it. What do you think?
Imagine if Sean Connery had appeared in Skyfall as they'd intended.
As Kincaid.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then,
yes.
Then this might have had some, like, fans could get behind this theory a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lovely idea, but I don't exactly take it with any merit.
Yeah, it's a cute idea. But...
So debunk in that corner. Right. James Bond is illiterate.
Why is that even a theory?
This is a fairly baseless theory, but it's made still rounds online. Fans have noticed that we never ever see Bond reading.
But we do know that Bond was in the Navy, right?
Yeah, it's kind of what goes with the role, isn't it?
Yeah, he didn't. Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine going for his 00 assessment and it goes, right, can you read on the board? No, get out.
I mean, like, the people who are watching this Bondcast now have never seen us walk, but I'm pretty sure they assume that we can.
Well, I'd like to think we can. I mean, we're only just been a head and shoulders, haven't we, really?
Weird. That's such a weird theory that, like, they haven't seen him read, but actually they have seen him read, and yet they still think he's illiterate.
Like it specifies there, it's a baseless theory.
The people
why have we never seen Bond read? Maybe because we don't want him to be reading. We want to see him shooting people and fighting people.
I do.
You know, that's my thing.
Definitely.
So, mate, debunk. It's gone. I think it's gone.
Get it out of here.
Right. Raoul Silver is Pierce Brosnan's Bond. Right, you're a Brosnan big fan. Go on, tell me about this.
Well, surely we both are. Yeah, no, he's not. He's a different character. He's got a completely different accent. He's from a different part of the world. It's just they never refer to him as a previous 007. If they had done, maybe we would have felt differently about that. But no,
I don't find it in any way enjoyable, that theory.
It's just his connection to Judi Dench, right?
That's all they're trying to do, isn't it? Create a link. Isn't it easy just to say, if you want to go that way, that she went to Hong Kong and stationed there for years? Wouldn't that be easier?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Huh. No, debunked.
She had a job before M. That's all it was.
James Bond is a Time Lord.
Yeah, truth. True, move on.
Oh, my God. Well, that would explain everything, wouldn't it, really?
I mean, it would.
I can't possibly go with it in any way. Move on. Okay, John Mason is James Bond. So, right, you've kind of half touched on this before in the past, haven't you, about movies that should be Bond movies. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I love this theory. I really do love this theory. So for anyone that doesn't
about it,
anyone that doesn't know what this theory is, basically the 1990 1995 movie, the Michael Bay movie, The Rock, starring Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. Basically, the people are saying that John Mason, the character that Sean Connery plays in the movie, is actually James Bond, and he plays a former British secret agent who's been imprisoned for 30 years or so for stealing sensitive data that he wouldn't release to the Americans, and he kind of just plays that same sort of character. So I think it's just a theory that this is like an an old Bond.
It's lovely, but it's
Bond. It is lovely. I love the theory. I think it's really nice.
There's no harm to put that in your head and go, "That's Bond." I don't think it makes any. Somebody wouldn't look at you going, "You're off your head," would they? You know?
No, I mean, I don't think it is. I don't think he is James Bond. But there's no reason for. I mean, if you want to think that he is James Bond, I've got no problems at all with it. I think it's such a great theory, and when I watch it, I think I'm watching James Bond.
The thing is, unlike James Bond as a Time Lord, this is a workable theory, so I'm okay with that one. Number 8, James Bond is the Illuminati. So apparently several Easter eggs and references in numerous Bond titles have led people to believe that Bond films are Illuminati propaganda. Things like the pyramids and the spy love me, the golden bullets and the man with the golden gun. But weren't these literary anyway? So are you saying that Fleming is the Illuminati? I don't know. I don't like this one at all.
Bonkers. Absolute bonkers. Tinfoil hat brigade.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go and find your own problems to make. Don't worry. Don't sit there. Don't sit there having a go at our Bond. Okay. Yeah. Sherlock is an MI6 agent. This is getting a bit peculiar, isn't it?
But wasn't Sherlock Holmes written like 40 years before James Bond? When was Sherlock Holmes written? Wasn't it written around the turn of the century? I can't remember.
It was late 1800s, early 1900s, wasn't it? Somewhere around there. So
no.
How?
I don't know how he can be.
And I'm not being funny. I don't think MI6 existed then either. So
I don't know. Yeah, probably not.
Let's just put that in the bin pile, mate. You know, James Bond, this is from a Reddit user, so we're all doomed, has suggested that MI6 uses James Bond as a doomed spy, suggesting that Bond is initially fed false information, and while he's occupying enemy attention, MI6 does the actual work unseen. Are they trying to devalue Bond's work here?
I don't know. I don't understand it.
Why would that be your theory?
What does it say further down?
So the concept would mean that the agent being sacrificed, but the Bond fears he's good enough to survive. So he goes in and basically always fails, but always wins or manages to live. That sounds really stupid.
I'm struggling to understand that one.
I don't get the concept.
So it's almost like he's almost like he's a distraction then. That he goes in and he's almost bumbling in a way. And always getting caught so that other secret agents can do the real thing in the background. Is that what they mean?
No.
Yeah,
This is
the real supposed making behind the scenes.
This is a stupid one. James Bond's AI. I'm not even going to entertain that, Chris. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. He's not AI.
Maybe he's a Terminator, though.
Mate, I would believe that more than AI, to be honest. And it would also explain why he is always going to make it at the end of the movie. So, yeah. Judi Dench, this is quite a good one, was M's first Moneypenny. Oh. I don't paint it.
So this depends then whether you subscribe to the theory that Moneypenny is a code name. Because I did until Eve Moneypenny.
Yeah, I always believed like Lois Maxwell, Caroline Bliss, and Samantha Bond. I believe they were just one and the same.
Well, see, that's the thing. Yeah, you can either assume they're a code name or you can assume they're the same person. I don't know I think I've always thought they were the same person, but I'm happy with it being a code name as well. I don't know.
I think with Moneypenny is there's not so much an invested interest if you have him Bond. Therefore, you can kind of let it slide or use it, whichever way you
with M, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can have your favourite M, can't you? I suppose it's one of those, but let's say plausible, but not essential. Oh, Chris, this is yours, mate. This is yours.
Oh, no,
Indiana Jones is James Bond's father. So the theory revolving around Sean Connery outside of the Bond universe was famously playing Henry Jones Sr. in Indiana Jones, which I know that you are a ridiculous Indiana Jones fan, aren't you?
I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. I love this idea.
I don't. I actually do like that theory.
Do you?
I'm not.
Do you?
I don't. A bit like the one with the Rock. I don't think it matters whether you do or don't. It doesn't cause any harm if you believe it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think so. I think family from Scotland, born and raised in that area. I think I don't think it is, but I like the idea. I think it's cute, and it's
cute.
a fun little thing to decide.
14. This is an interesting one. Bond orders his martini shaken to detect poison.
Yeah,
That's
I've heard that
actually.
before.
I have heard this before, and I actually go with it. It doesn't hurt in any way, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I like the idea. I think I'd heard somewhere, I can't remember, I'd have to look into it, but I think I saw somebody debunking this and giving another reason for it. But I do really like the idea, because the idea is theoretically that shaking it waters down the drink. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then it tastes, you can taste the poison better, or it separates the poison or something. I don't know.
And hey, let's face it, the cocktail was made in Casino Royale, even in the book. So therefore, if he's poisoned, that's going to be his wake up call to do this in future. He even says in the movie, doesn't he? Do you want it shaken or stirred? Do it like I give a damn. Evidently, later on, he does give a damn.
He does.
So I quite like that. I'll go with that theory.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a thing about shaking it against stirring it. Shaking it makes it colder than stirring it. There is a real reason, isn't there? You shake cocktails with ice inside in order to cool them down quicker. So I think it's just about the color. I don't know. It's not a timeline theory though either, is it?
No, this is the one I hate. No, this is a timeline theory. I hate it, by the way. A multiverse Bond world. I don't. This is too Marvel, as it says in the page. Oh no way. I don't like the idea of multiple Bonds in different worlds doing stuff. I think that's absolute coddle-up, if I'm being honest.
I like to think that there is an alternate universe where Jaws is a shark. And that Steven Spielberg made a movie version of Jaws where it's just a bloke with metal teeth. And
that's believable.
To swim.
I don't know why, but I feel like that's been done, Chris. So that's
probably
some of the fan stuff out there. And yeah, there's quite a few guys mentioning on the comments some of their ideas and everything, really. But Lorenzo's mentioned here about putting the 007 game Bloodstone into the timeline. Before Skyfall. I would think that's got some merit to it. I actually, in my head, I consider that to be a possibility.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely. I think Bloodstone feels quite like a Daniel Craig Bond movie, so I could see why it'd fit in. I haven't really thought about the games in general, though. I like to think that they're separate. The gaming universe is separate. So
this is where I would like to show you, Chris, my theory. Okay, this is something I've took a lot of time to consider. It's quite an emotional moment for me doing this.
I'm ready.
I will show you. I'll show you what I've worked out, and I'll give you a little bit of an explanation. Right. So this is my theory. Okay. So up until recently, if we start from the top left, if we go across to the right hand side, First Light. I believe that could probably stand some weight of Bond being a very much rookie. I feel like you have to go for the entire first game to actually be a 00 agent. Therefore, you have to go for the entire events. Then, Casino Royale comes in. He gets his first mission. He gets his heart broken. All the betrayal, which directly leads us into Quantum. Like Lorenzo, I will give Bloodstone its merit. I think it fits very nicely after Quantum of Solace. Presents the old dog routine that he's done a lot more, rather than just walking off with the snow at the end of Quantum of Solace and then turning up on Turkey's, riverside in Skyfall. So I would say that's pretty quite good. Spectre can be his first encounter with what's known as the parent of Quantum, being Spectre. No Time to Die presents a bit of a problem, doesn't it? Because he does die. Yep. Or does he? When I say does he, I think I've alluded to my idea before, Chris, haven't I?
You have.
What do you... So my theory, if you haven't seen it, guys, is that he didn't die. he just created the idea that he dies to keep Madeline and Matilda away from him, and therefore does actually play dead for a long time until he is recovered by MI6, but at the last minute, and ends up spending 6 months in hospital, which he mentioned in Dr. No. That is my theory. Why he didn't die, but did die, but didn't die. Yeah. Which then leads into Dr. No, and subsequently the Connery era starts all the way through. But the only jump you'll notice is Diamonds Are Forever comes after You Only Live Twice. I don't believe Diamonds Are Forever belongs after, because it's not a revenge movie, and it's a Connery movie. It's got a different tone, so I believe they go hand in hand. Once we've hit Diamonds Are Forever, we go into On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Subsequently, then we have some Roger Moore adventures. We split it up a little bit. So we go to Live and Let Die. We go to The Man with a Golden Gun, so on, so on. However, the bottom line is, after A Majesty's Secret Service, we go straight to For Your Eyes Only. Because as we pointed out earlier, Bond is at his wife's grave. It's a perfect, in a way, sequel to end that movie and start the new movie on. After this, you've got some very loose continuity. It doesn't really matter. We've got Octopussy, A View to a Kill. I think after A View to a Kill, the pre-titles of GoldenEye takes place. That's why I believe. Takes us into The Living Daylights, License to Kill. Then we pick it up in the modern day with Pierce Brosnan doing GoldenEye, but we slot in Nightfire and Everything or Nothing in its respective moments. That is my theory that I've probably overthought, destroyed my marriage over, and bottom line, finally worked out a theory I've been trying to get my head around since I was 16.
So, okay. It's really well thought out. I like it. I like it a lot.
Have I converted you?
I feel like it was probably worth the end of your marriage, actually. It's that good.
Thank you, mate. It wasn't, by the way. That's just blind.
No, it definitely wasn't. I mean, it's as good as any of the timelines, I guess. I really don't. I mean, from a personal point of view, people come at me in the chat, I guess. I don't like the mixing of the games and the movies. I don't think we need the games and the movies to be in the same continuity. Quite happy with them just being their own thing. And then I think you're talking about anytime you inherently make one of these timelines, you have to come up with like leaps of logic and really convoluted explanations just to get from A to B. You know, so like at the end of No Time to Die, it's like, well, he didn't die. This happened and this happened and this happened. And I think if you're having to make those kind of leaps, maybe it's just not worth it. But like in general, I think it's a really, really good way of
the collector agrees as well. That's nice to see.
There you go.
Collector.
But the fact is, he's absolutely right.
The fact is, no matter what you believe, whether you do or don't believe in these theories, it is totally a little bit of a mind boggle to wonder what movies they go in order in. And the bottom line is maybe you just don't care and you just enjoy the movies for exactly what they are. And if you do, that is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree. I think if you're having that much fun and you create your own timelines and you've got a way of watching them that works for you, that's equally great. You know, that Bond has inspired you to go and create a continuity in your head that fits, you know, what you want. That's brilliant. I like
Absolutely agree. And I think the bottom line is that's what's great about what we're about to enter in with Amazon now. We've got a new era. Do we start a new timeline theory altogether? Or do we just go, it's a reboot, it's a rehash, or it just continues and Bond's always been around? I don't think either one's a bad theory.
No, I don't think either one's a bad theory. I think I worry more about like another origin. I don't think we need another origin.
I'm not crying out for an origin, Chris. I'm not. I'll take it, but it has to be a good one. It has to be something different.
Yeah, but agreed. Yeah, you know, like I say, I like them. I'm probably sounding like a real negative guy right now, and I'm not. I love these movies, and I love people coming up with different ideas for them.
Let me ask you one thing. So there's not a timeline theory, Chris, but is there two movies that you do interlink a little bit that you think have got some close continuity? Just two movies.
Two Bond movies.
From. Yeah, just two. You believe personally have got some loose connection that you quite like the idea of.
I mean, I think the obviously On Her Majesty's Secret Service and For Your Eyes Only, I think has a real direct through line. I actually think that like I've always I think that Timothy Dalton's and Pierce Brosnan's Bond films go together better than any of the other Bonds, like in general.
Is it because they look alike and the timelines are quite close as well?
I think the tone of the movies doesn't change too much. I think obviously Pierce Brosnan is probably a lighter, more accessible Bond than Timothy Dalton was. Timothy Dalton was definitely more a literary Bond than Brosnan. I think it was very easy to link the two. What about you?
I think you said a good word in one of our podcasts. Although Dalton was amazing in some respects of the area he's on, he was treated as a course correct with Pierce Brosnan, really, wasn't he? And they created more creative, classic Bond, if you like. But the only two movies I really would like to, if I had to link them together, would be The Living Daylights and then GoldenEye, because I'd like to think GoldenEye happens at the beginning. We have a little break where he goes on a training exercise and all that happens in Living Daylights, and then we pick GoldenEye up later on. So,
I like that you've done that. I mean, I was going to ask you about why only one film has got that sort of that interlink, but I like that idea that he does. Those two films sort of dovetail a little bit.
Do you know what we need to see more of, though, I think, Chris? We need to see Bond being more stealthy, infiltration, like locations, a bit like GoldenEye at the beginning. I would love to see the next movie where we just have a total blank mission, not related to the assignment or the movie itself. He just sneaks into some terrorist bazaar and disables the bomb, gets out in some outlandish escape, and then just sips a martini on the beach and finds a woman. I would love that to be an opening sequence, just to go, all the cliches are here, we're going to give them all in one go. So for me, I think we've covered what we believe to be our way forward of watching Bond. But it's fair to say a lot of the public stuff is a little bit peculiar.
Can I just say one tiny little theory that I really love?
Of course.
And I personally agree with, which is about the swap between the Bernard Lee and
I know where you're going with this.
Robert Brown. It's the idea that Robert Brown was playing. For those of you that don't remember, Robert Brown played a man called Admiral Hargreaves in The Spy Who Loved Me, he then replaced Bernard Lee as M in Octopussy, I think, although probably only really seen in the Timothy Dalton Bond movies. So the theory is that he got promoted. So he is playing the same character, the Admiral who got promoted to the role of M in the subsequent movies. And I like that. I think that's nice.
And we also have a problem, don't we? Because he's also on a picture on the wall in No Time to Die in the MI6 building as well. So,
is he? I didn't know that. Yeah. That's really cool.
So when he's walking through the corridor,
as a former M.
Carefully, and all of all the M's are there on the wall. So, which also creates the idea that Daniel Craig can't be a reboot. It's really peculiar. But it also means he can't be there before he meets his M's that are in the memoirs.
It's so weird. That's why it's very strange. Easier just to not think about it. I think it's.
I think just put the movie on, get some popcorn, and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
From there for you. I think we've reached the end there, Chris. It's been really good actually. I've been dying to do this since we started this podcast, mate. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well. And thank you everybody for contributing in the comments. It's really, really encouraging. We love hearing from you guys. Chris, would you like to plug anything, my friend, before we wrap up for the evening?
Yeah, this has been I agree with you that I've really enjoyed this week. I love looking at theories. Even if I don't like them, it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy talking about them. I feel like, it's a lot of fun, speculating about stuff like this. And I like getting really geeky about like stuff like this. A bit like inside baseball. One of the main things that I'll plug is we've talked about it before, but this Sunday, Mike and I will be at the Mockingbird Theatre in Birmingham to see the 40th anniversary screening of View to a Kill. And if anyone else manages to make it there, we will see you there. It'd be really nice to catch up with people. Really looking forward to seeing the movie, and we will cover it in future videos. at some point. So
We will indeed.
I think looks like we'll probably be seeing the collector there. I'm looking forward to seeing you there, collector. So that's really exciting.
He has just popped on. Oh, there we are. He's got his ticket. So hopefully, collector, we will seek us out by all means, and make sure you bring your sunglasses because that's a trademark of your image apparently at the moment. So
exactly. So yeah, I think I'm really excited about that. Obviously, please, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not already. We really appreciate it. And you can find me on socials at Geek Figure Fan on Insta and YouTube.
Absolutely, mate. And keep the Figure Fan reviews up. They're very much engaging, and I like seeing your turntable working that little bit harder every time you do one.
Yeah, it's good.
Thanks, mate. I will say to you guys, if you haven't checked them out already, on the channel, go backwards, have a look on the YouTube channel because we are completing the run very shortly of From Russia with Love. We're on part 5 out of 6. The 6th part is coming at the start of November as we round it off, and I've already decided which game, based on our poll, will be the next one that we play. So I will reveal that when we get a little bit nearer the time. And as Chris said, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, join the channel, join Facebook, and hello to your Facebook viewers. We are still engaging with you. Please like our page. We are approaching 200 on Facebook, and we're approaching our first 100 on YouTube. So it's really exciting, and we want this to really keep the momentum going. So we really appreciate all your contributions, mentions, subscribers, and likes. Breathe.
You did it really well, mate. You did it really well.
There's
well
a
done.
lot to cover.
I reckon we'll get loads of subscribers from that.
Well, I hope so. If it's not in vain. But apart from that, guys, thank you very much for joining us for Bond Theories today and for watching us today on the Bondcast.
The ultimate Bondcast.